Welcome back to The Bench, folks. As you know, tone is a big subject among guitar players. We all obsess about it. Pickups, pots, capacitors, amplifiers, tubes, you name it. But what about the piece that connects those two, the guitar cable? How important is that? It's often overlooked. Well, today, we have somebody who can tell us all about that, Cassandra Sotos. She's an engineer and the CEO of AmpRx, the creator of the Brown Box. It's a voltage controller used with tube amps. I love this thing, and we're gonna do an entire video just about this component. But today I wanna talk about guitar cables. So Cassandra, welcome to The Bench, and can you tell us why guitar cables matter?
Have you ever been in that situation where it's not working and you're sweating and asking the rest of your band, does anybody have an extra 1/4 inch? That's awful, like, that's the worst feeling. It's also one of those things where you might not even know how it's affecting your sound. So a high quality cable is really important for preserving the quality of your sound and making sure that your rig is in working order, because it is something that can go. And when it goes, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah, why spend all the money on nice pickups and then use a $10 cable? And there are a lot of great choices out there, a lot of great cables on the market in all different price ranges. But what I want to talk to you about today is making your own cables. Why would somebody want to make their own cable?
A great reason to learn how to make your own cables is the cost factor. So if you're a person who needs a lot of cables, who needs a lot of different sizes of cables, that can really add up. Another great reason to build your own cables is the customization. So if you need to build a patch cable this big, or you need a 50-footer because you're gonna be that far away from your amp, you can build that exactly to your specifications. So you get the cost savings and the customization. Two great reasons. So even if you haven't built all of your cables, knowing how they're constructed, knowing how to build them will give you the skills that you need to repair what you do have if something goes wrong. You won't end up just trashing cables, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the ability to fix things, less things go in the trash. It's better for the environment, better for your wallet. You could be a hero in the band. You want to be the person that can fix things.
Lots of people don't realize, when your cable goes bad, you can fix it most of the time.
A lot of the time.
It's not ready for the trash. If you've made some cables, you know how to fix cables. So repairability, I think that's a great one. What else?
My favorite reason for learning how to build a cable is skill building, actually. Learning how to solder. Soldering is an essential skill, and learning how to build your own cable is a great first project to hone that skill, see if you like it, and then see what that skill opens up for you.
That's a great way to get your feet wet.
So we've got the main ingredients for our cable here today. We have Mogami cables. They're known worldwide for being the gold standard of high quality cable, and you'll be able to see that when we open this up. We also have Switchcraft mono plugs, wire cutters, wire stripper, helping hands, solder, pliers, soldering iron, and
safety first, you definitely don't want to be breathing solder fumes. This is a fume extractor. It will help suck the fumes away, run them through a filter so you're not breathing them. It's not essential if you're at home just every now and then making a cable. Just make sure you have a lot of air circulation and good ventilation. You don't want to be breathing this stuff.
And if you have long hair like me, put it back, no fires. All right, so let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is prepare the cable. I'm going to strip the outer sheath away. I start with about 1 inch. Beautiful. So that's the shielding. That's tough. That's some high quality shielding.
Oh yeah, that is high quality. That looks way better than that one we were looking at before we started. That was a cheap cable I've had forever that I thought we could have repaired, but when I cut into it, it was shedding like crazy. It was a lost cause. This is way better.
Now this is a little bit too long, but that's okay because we're gonna cut it back to be exactly right. I always like to start with a little bit too much and then go from there. As we mentioned, that's the shielding. And this is the center conductor. I'm using these wire strippers, gonna strip away the covering of the center conductor as well. We're gonna twist those up. A very important next step is to put the cover of the plug onto the cable. Very important that you put it in the right direction. Just yesterday, I put it in the wrong direction and had to cut my cable off and start again. So, one side is smaller than the other, one side is threaded.
Inside of the cover, there's a little plastic insulation here. This is going to ensure that this positive conductor doesn't make contact with the case, which is connected to ground. That'll short the whole cable out.
So we'll put that back in there. You need to put the smaller side on first.
Perfect.
Very important step. So we'll put this to the side and put this in the helping hands. So something like a helping hands is a great investment. if you're gonna be doing a lot of soldering, it makes your life so much easier.
Yeah, this is essential. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to hold all this together while you're also trying to solder. You burn yourself, you can melt the rubber jacket. It's just gonna save you a lot of frustration and fumbling. It lines up your shielding wire and your center conductor right where they need to solder to the plug.
So let's tin these. Tinning is whenever you add solder to one surface to make it easier to work with and easier to solder later. Be very careful with this. It's very, very hot. So don't touch the tip. Heating up the surface and the solder at the same time and just letting it flow over. I will mention that these cool very quickly. It just takes a couple seconds to do something like this. Still wouldn't recommend touching it.
And no need to blow on them. Let them cool by themselves.
Great point. We've got the plug now, and this is where we're gonna check to see how much we need to cut off. There's grippers on the back of here. I actually don't know what the technical term is, but I call them grippers. So this kind of goes around the cable and you'll tighten this. So you can see we have a fair amount of conductor to cut off here. I can see that I'm gonna cut it right there, and that will give us enough room to make the connections. I think that length looks good to me. What do you think, Gene?
Yeah, that looks great. It can be kind of hard to judge, and you did lose most of your tinning there, but there's still a little left on the end. I think that'll work. If you don't tin it, you just sometimes have to heat it a little longer. So you've got your center conductor lined up, ready to be soldered to your positive terminal, or what's called our tip, and your shielded wire ready to go onto the negative terminal, what we call the sleeve. Looks like you're ready to go.
Now that we know that's where we want it to be, I'm gonna tighten the grippers with the pliers. And then the solders are gonna be what is mainly the durability of the cable, but that does help a little bit. All right, well, let's do it. Let's do our first solder joint. It's important to heat up both surfaces, otherwise you can end up with what's called a cold solder, which means that the connection has not been made. See how it's flooding the terminal there? Don't be afraid to use a lot of solder. You want a good, strong connection, and you want to make sure that all of the elements, the solder, the plug, and the conductor have all been heated up.
Yeah, I think it's important to note if it's not shiny, if it's dull, gray looking, that's a cold solder joint, and you definitely want to heat that back up.
The bottom one for me is actually a little bit difficult sometimes. It's a tighter fit, and this piece here can be a little bit tough to heat up.
It's a bigger
area.
area.
It takes longer than this little piece, so you'll have to hold the iron on it for maybe longer than you anticipated at first. That's okay. I will mention to be careful because as you heat this up, you heat the rest of it up. So just be careful when you're doing this joint. To make sure it's flowed on both sides. Yeah, nice and shiny. The solders that we just made are connecting the plug to the cable, right? Now this is a great reason to not remove your cable from your amp by pulling on the actual cable. You want to make sure that when it's put back together, you grab it from the cover.
Yeah, right.
And you have a newly made half of a cable. We've got to do the other
We
end.
gotta do the other side.
Do you want to do the other end, Gene?
Yeah, sure, why not? I'll give it a shot.
Everybody has their own tips and tricks when it comes to soldering. It's a pretty personal process, actually, so maybe we'll pick up some new things from you.
You never know, I've huffed a lot of solder fumes. Okay, here goes. Actually, I like to start with putting the cover on first. That way I don't forget, obviously, but I sometimes fumble trying to get it around my two separated wires at the end. It just goes on a little easier this way. So step one is to remove the outside rubber jacket, and to do so, we're gonna use the cutting section of our strippers because they don't really go large enough for this cable. And that's not a problem, just bite down just enough to get through the rubber section and not cut into the wire, and that'll slide off nice and easy. And we're just gonna twist up the braided shield wire and put it off to the side. And then we can just strip off the outside jacket of the center conductor. This is smaller, so we can actually use the correct portion of the wire strippers on this one. And then we're gonna twist that all up nice and neat on the end so that we can get it inside of our helping hands and tin both of these wires. Tinning is just good practice. It's gonna hold these wires together and keep them from fraying, and it's gonna ensure you make a good, quick, clean joint. And like you mentioned earlier, it is sometimes hard to get inside of here to solder up that negative connection, so I just bend these apart a little bit and give myself some room. So I cut my center conductor to length to reach my tip here. That's the positive terminal. And I'm gonna heat it up long enough for this solder to completely liquefy and flow out. And I cut my shielded wire to length, and I'm gonna solder that to the sleeve terminal. That's our negative. And I want to make sure I heat all this up and let that solder all flow out nice and clean as well. Then I like to bend these together a little bit to make sure I have plenty of room to slide the cover on. Okay, success. We're all done.
Gene, before you take this to your next gig, there is one more step, right?
Yeah, we should test it.
We have to test it. So I've got a multimeter over here. Put the multimeter on the audible setting so you can hear it when it makes a connection.
Okay.
That means that there's continuity over the circuit. I'm just gonna touch one here and
Tip to tip.
tip to tip.
Okay,
We did it.
that works. What about shaft to shaft there? The other thing I would check is to make sure you don't get a beep between this and this.
Oh, good
That would
point.
be a short, huh? No sound there.
No sound.
We have a working cable.
We did it.
Doesn't get any easier than that, does it?
Nope, only 2 joints per end. Very low stakes. I mean, it's just a great way to get into the world of soldering, which of course can lead you to many other wonderful places. Pedals, amps, electronics in your guitars. You'll be fixing everything in your shop.
Well, thank you so much for coming by, Cassandra, and showing us your technique. We really appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you folks for joining us, and we'll see you at the bench next time.